Welcome back. You're watching our continuing coverage here from Davos 2025, and we're bringing you conversations from leaders on their outlook for the year ahead. More importantly, the bets and priorities that they are focusing on. Joining us now from the automotive sector is Sudarshan Venu of TVS. Sudarshan, great to have you back here on CNBC-TV18 in Davos. It's good to see you here.
My pleasure to be here with you, Sheeren. It's exciting 2025. I think India continues to be the fastest growing large economy. President Trump takes office today, so
Yes.
it's a momentous occasion. I think it creates a lot of opportunities for further trade with America, and of course, continued growth of the American economy will be a very good catalyst for economies around the world. And I think the whole supply chain and the tariffs, though they're yet to be firmed up and formalized, I think the direction is clear that America will continue to grow, and American growth will be important, and there are opportunities for Indian companies to tap into those supply chains or invest in those markets.
Absolutely, and that is, of course, the big conversation here in Davos is the Trump administration and what the Trump era will mean as far as global growth is concerned. But let's talk about India. We seem to have hit a little bit of a speed breaker in terms of consumption, in terms of growth, and we've seen that being reflected in sales numbers as well. At the start of 2025, do you believe that things are likely to get better? Are you getting any visible signs of improvement?
Absolutely. We are seeing signs of improvement in the first 3 weeks of January. I think because of the election and things, certain government capex had to be slowed down. But post the monsoon, there is a pickup. And the first 3 weeks of January are very exciting. And this sets a very optimistic tone for 2025.
Okay, so you're saying, and how would you quantify the increase at this point in time?
I think we are definitely looking for double-digit industry growth this year.
Okay.
And TVS will aim to continue to grow ahead of the industry. Some of our launches last year have been very well received. And there are more exciting launches this year as well, both on the electric side and the ICE engine side. Africa, which is an important market for us, is starting to rebound, and you're starting to seeing that trajectory move up. So I think this is creating an exciting scenario, and in the next few days we will also firm up the acquisition of Home Credit, which will add to TVS Credit and take the total AUM to 35,000 crores with over 30 million customers. So even on the financial services side, with India growing and with increased consumption by Indian consumers, we definitely see a lot of opportunities, and we're investing behind that as well.
I'll come to credit in a second, but let's build on the EV plans for the year ahead and over the next few years. I mean, there is a war currently underway, and the incumbents have dislodged the startups, so to speak. And you know, I think the last numbers that I saw, you're now at number one, and as I said, it's getting fiercely competitive. But what's the outlook now on EV growth? What are your plans to try and scale up further?
So I think EVs are very important for the future, and what we're seeing is only the beginning. TVS, as you know, from early on has been very committed to EVs. iQube has been well received in the market. TVS X, which is a tremendous technological vehicle in terms of integrated electronic architecture, connectivity, video, safety features, has started deliveries. We will also launch, we've shown some concepts at Bharat Mobility on Friday. Our electric three-wheeler has launched today with the largest range of 175 plus kilometers and charge of only 3.5 hours. We're launching an electric cargo three-wheeler as well. So I think, you know, for us at TVS, putting the customer at the heart of what we do, delivering highest customer satisfaction, and using technology and innovation to drive that is the focus, and continues to remain the focus which we are committed to. Along with that, the growth is coming.
You know, but growth, profitable growth, because, you know, what we are seeing as far as EVs are concerned is that, you know, it continues to be a loss-making business for companies at this point in time. So what are you seeing as far as specifically the EV side of the business is concerned?
Things are improving. I think battery costs are coming down globally, and we have to look at EVs over a 10-year time horizon. And I think when you look at it that way, we are committed to it, we are investing behind it, and over a period of time the profitability will come, battery costs will come down, and the market will evolve. Customers may want different kinds of vehicles, companies will innovate, bring the cost down, and all this will lead to profitability over a period of time, which we definitely believe will happen, and we are committed to it, and we are investing behind it and putting the customer and technology and exciting products at the heart of it.
So what is the investment plan specifically on the EV side?
I think we committed a few years ago that we would invest 200, 250 million. We have made that investment. You are seeing the products, you're seeing the growth. there are more products this year, and with that we'll share more capex plans as well.
And the EV expansion plans outside of India, is that going to be a big focus
Definitely,
area for you?
We're a global company. We cater to so many markets, and we will further that in EVs as well. We have launched iQube in some markets outside India. The electric scooter for BMW is designed, developed by us, and is selling in European markets. And I think you may have seen on Friday, we have announced a discussion and partnership with Hyundai to make electric three-wheelers and micro-mobility vehicles, which also is for Indian and global markets, designed by Hyundai but crafted in India by TVS. And I think that's an example of sustainability, electrification, our commitment to it, new innovative products, going global, and the Indian supply chain.
Well, take me through a little bit more about this Hyundai partnership that you spoke of. When does it get operationalized? When are we likely to start to see the products come into the market from this
You'll see the exact plans and when it will come into the market. We'll announce that in a period of time. But I think the main idea is that we wanted to showcase our commitment to mobility, to innovation, and to global partnerships and new products that can really delight customers and transform mobility.
Are you looking at more partnerships? I mean, you've got BMW, you now have Hyundai. Are you looking at more partnerships?
I think we have two excellent partnerships, as you mentioned, and we are focused on them.
Okay. Outside of the EV business, let's talk about what's happening on the ICE side of the business as well at this point in time.
The ICE side of the business continues to grow. Jupiter 110, the new one which was launched last year, has been very well received. And we will make more launches as well, including a premium off-road motorcycle and some other vehicles as well in the coming year. So this is something that is exciting, and it continues to grow, and you are seeing greater premiumization of vehicles as well.
That side of the market continues to see growth.
Yes, absolutely.
Right?
I think it is a sign of the Indian consumer having a little extra disposable income, and also sort of with that and the technology that is now available in terms of connectivity, in terms of safety systems, these are all very exciting for consumers.
You touched upon credit, and you talked about home credit and what you hope to do with that as far as TVS Credit is concerned. What's the outlook and what's the ambition, on that front?
I think the ambition, as we have stated earlier, and now we are closer to it, is to have 50,000 crores of AUM, but importantly to do it in a TVS way, which is to focus on customers, have high NPS, play in our chosen segments, and leverage technology to do that. So this is what we are committed to, and I think we are already in the consumer finance business. Home credit is also in that business. So the total AUM, as I said, is about 35,000 crores with the combination, and 30 million customers, and we'll aim to grow with these customers and to grow in these segments leveraging technology. I also think that as we get increased scale, we will look at new products, both in terms of home loans, gold loans, in addition to the vehicle loans which we do and consumer loans which we're doing.
And how soon are we going to see you enter the gold loan and home loan business?
This year,
2025.
Yes.
So before I let you go, the big priorities, you just gave us two for 2025. Overall, for the EV business, for ICE, and of course you've given us an indication of what you hope to do on credit. What are the priorities for 2025?
I've already given you three important priorities, Sheeren, so I have to focus on these.
Okay, fair enough. Plenty on your plate. Sudarshan, always a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Many thanks for joining us on CNBC-TV18. Great to see you back here in Davos. Well, that was TVS's Sudarshan Venu talking to us about their plans for the EV side of the business, the ICE business, and of course on credit as well. We are going to take a break here. The conversations will continue. Don't go anywhere. We're back in a moment, live from Davos. Welcome back. You're watching our continuing coverage here from Davos 2025. India is making its presence felt in Davos again. We do, of course, have central ministers along with three state chief ministers in attendance. taking the India story to global investors. Joining me now is the Minister for Food Processing, Chirag Paswan. Mr. Paswan, many thanks for joining us here on CNBC-TV18.
It's
good to have you join us in Davos. It's your first Davos and it's your first day here in Davos. So far, take me through what the meetings have been like.
Well, we have just started, we have just begun, and a little interactions. But then, yes, this is my first time in Davos, first time as a minister also. This is my first year as a minister, and I think this comes with a huge responsibility, you know, when you represent your country, and that to a country like India, which is led by a Prime Minister who's got such a clear vision about Viksit Bharat. And I think in that, my ministry, food processing, internationally when I travel now, so I can understand that there's so much of scope through this ministry. And when we talk about Viksit Bharat, I think in few years we'll realize that food processing industries will play a major role in that.
Well, speaking of playing a major role, this has been a focus area of the government. In fact, the announcement of setting up large parks, etc., has also been part of the government's agenda and the government's plan. You know, as you take stock of the situation in terms of what has already been done, but what more needs to be delivered, what would you prioritize?
Well, yes, I mean, I'm happy that under the leadership of my Prime Minister, we are managing to build that infrastructure, to build that whole ecosystem, you know, which is required for the food processing industry. India, as we all know, is an agro-based country. Majority of the population is associated with farming. And I think there, food processing plays a very, very important role, you know, in terms of not only improving and increasing the longevity of the products, but also to minimize the wastage of the products that have been produced by our farmers. So I think it plays a very, very important role, as you mentioned. Yes, I mean, we are trying to build a complete ecosystem around it with almost around 41 food parks being there. And I think in terms of cold chain, I think we are one of the leading countries with almost around 398 cold chain ecosystem around this. And then, yes, I mean, there are a lot of agro processing clusters that we are coming up with. So these are the different, besides the scheme that the government has taken as initiatives to promote this industry, whether it's through PMKSY or PMFME, which really focuses on the small and micro enterprises. So I believe that, you know, when you are an agro-pro state, it's not only the T1 or T2, Tier 1, Tier 2 cities that you need to concentrate. It seeps down to the really rural sector of our country. So I think overall, yes, but then a lot more needs to be done. And also, you know, because I think that India's got that potential to explore international market through food processing sector. And again, under the leadership of my Prime Minister, there was an increase, there was a marginal increase in the export, where it was just mere 13.7% in 2013 and 14, which increased to almost 23.4% by the year 2023-24. So yes, there's been a major increase in the export. My Prime Minister has given us a target to eventually build this sector as a global food basket, you know, because we have everything in so much of abundance, and if channelized properly, I think we have the scope to do that, and that's exactly where we're working towards.
So, you know, what is going to be the strategy to leverage on the momentum that's already been built as far as exports are concerned? Which are the markets that you intend to focus on? Who are you in conversation with at this point in time to be able to take that 24% number higher? And is there a target that you're working towards?
Well, definitely there are internal targets that we're working on, but then I think India comes with huge variety. I think for centuries India has been known for the spices and, you know, the diversity of food, and, you know, because of the geographical positioning of our country, right from top north to down south to east to west, you know, we have n number of varieties. And I think the strong presence of Indian diaspora across the globe gives us that opportunity to penetrate the market initially, and I would not want it to be restricted only to the Indian diaspora, because, you know, whenever I travel across the globe, recently I was in States, and there was, I won't name the restaurant, but it was an Indian restaurant by a renowned chef in India, and there was a waiting of almost,
I can guess which one.
Almost 6 months. Yes.
Bungalow.
So I was there, and there was a waiting, there was a long queue for for months and months on a stretch. There were many other. I was in Italy, and I think we were the only Indian in that Indian restaurant. And whereas all the foreigners, they were enjoying our cuisine.
Right.
So I know, that scope is there. I would love to see Indian brands, in supermarkets across the globe. So yes, that's something we are focusing on.
Well, we would love to see more Indian brands on global shelves as well. But, talking about us and a wish list, the budget is literally around the corner now. And I know every ministry sends its wish list to the finance minister in the hope of being able to get more than the previous year. Given the plans that you've laid out for us, what's the ask of your ministry, of the finance minister?
Well, yes, there's always a long wish list, but then I'm happy that the government key focus area is food processing. Is one of the key focus areas is food processing, and my Prime Minister and the Finance Minister, they are very, very focused on promoting this sector. When I talk about wastage, when I talk about quality control, so I'm very happy that in the previous budget, this was one of the key areas that was focused with irradiation units coming up, which really helps in reducing the wastage of the perishable items like vegetables and fruits and stuff. So 50 irradiation units coming up back in our country, 100 more, food testing labs, because I'm very, very particular, that it's not only about food security, it's about food safety as well. So you need to be very clear on those parameters, and those regulations that the food needs to be, in terms of quality check, it needs to be good. So yes, like every year, this year also, we really hope that the food processing sector gets equal importance as always.
What is the ask of the private sector in India at this point in time? What would you like to see more of from the private sector, especially when we talk about building out the cold chain ecosystem, as you pointed out? That, of course, has been a big focus area. Where do you believe the private sector can and should play a bigger role?
So yes, private sector has a very important role, and to be very honest, since the time I have taken over as a minister and as advised by my Prime Minister, I'm making an extra effort to connect with the industry. I really want to be that bridge between the government and the industry, because eventually what happens that, if you make a policy, the policies are for them.
Right.
And if you don't incorporate their suggestions, their ideas, and for that matter, every stakeholder, who's concerned or associated with that particular policy, so it's very important to, have regular engagements, regular talks with them. And yes, as you asked, I have a lot of hope from the people of this industry concerning
Have they
food
raised
processing.
any specific, issues, made any specific recommendations that they want the government to focus on?
Yes, there are few, but then mainly they are related to the taxation policies and stuff. But then I think in terms of logistics, used to be one of the prime concerns, which I think now we are, with the new developed infrastructure and the kind of work that's been happening in this sector, I think we are being able to get logistics much in control now. So I think the industry is pretty much satisfied with that. But then, yeah, taxation at times becomes a concern for them, which we are having regular talks. But then, yes, I mean, I also have a lot of expectations from the industry, because they are the one who can actually penetrate the international market, and not only catering to the Indian diaspora, but also understanding the taste of the, globally, various parts of the globe.
Are you looking at Indian startups in this sector, in this space?
Yes, of course. And I think this is one sector where on a regular basis, there are n number of innovations, startups, new technologies that's been coming up, which is really exciting. We have two NIFTMs working, which is the institute which focuses on food processing and the ideas and technologies associated with that, and the kind of outcome that we see there. Every year we organize this World Food India, which provides a platform for every stakeholder, related to food processing industries, whether they are the innovators, whether they are the new startup ideas, whether they are the promoters, where people associated with the agriculture, with the machine manufacturers, everybody coming on one platform, where you exchange ideas, and it's a global platform. So, technologies in the European countries, American countries, everybody come together on that platform and exchange ideas and stuff. And that has really helped us to get that much needed feedback.
So Davos 2025, you are going to be meeting with a lot of existing investors, hopefully a lot of potential investors as well. What do you hope to achieve? Do you have any MOUs lined up that will be signed here at the end of the week?
Well, I really hope there are a few things in the pipeline, and if everything goes well, we are looking forward to some nice collaborations. But then, as I said, this is, as you said, that this is the very first day.
Yes.
So yeah, as the
week progresses.
yeah, it progresses. So I think I'll be in a better position to announce.
Well, we look forward to those announcements, and we wish you the very best of luck with the discussions that are going to be underway. But thank you very much for joining us here in Davos. That is the Minister for Food Processing, Chirag Paswan, joining us here in the CNBC-TV18 studio in Davos as he kickstarts his meetings with potential investors and other stakeholders to position India, in his words, as a global hub for food processing. Thank you very much for your time. We'll take a break. There's a lot more coming up. Don't go anywhere. We're back in a moment.